Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. So today, before I dive into the content, I want to thank each and every one of you for this amazing feedback what I got on my yesterday's video. You guys are amazing, and also please keep supporting this channel because I want to reach 100,000 subscribers until the end of this year. So please, let's make that happen, and also without wasting any time. So guys, now as you can see, we are going to start this analysis of Bitcoin here in a daily time frame, because we are aware right now the price movement what we are witnessing is clearly showing a sign of weakness, and along with that, this Williams alligator indicator is about to flash a bearish crossover, and this is not what we want to see playing out for Bitcoin, because in the past Bitcoin price action, whenever we saw this bearish crossover happening where the blue line starts appearing at the top, red line in the middle and the green line at the bottom, that usually indicates the bears are now in control and we could see potential downward price movement playing out. It has happened plenty of time, guys. If you go back here from the past Bitcoin price action, whenever we saw this blue line appearing at the top, green line appearing at the bottom, you can see after that we saw this price pullback here as well, right? You can see this scenario has played out again and again. And also to confirm this price movement, what I showed you guys was the confirmation from the MACD, RSI and T3 CCI indicator. So if we get the confirmation from all these four indicators, right, the bulls or bears, whichever scenario it's going to go, the indicator must also confirm that. And in this case, you can see when the blue line started appearing at the top, right, and green line at the bottom, that was already a sign of weakness. And also to the downside, you can see exactly around that price range, the MACD, you can see the MACD started forming this bearish MACD cross and also started appearing in negative territory. At the same time, RSI line started dropping below 50 level and the T3 CCI was already in a negative territory. You can see all four indicators confirm this movement here to the downside with each and every price movement. You can see this has happened again and again. And now, right now, if you look in our case, this crossover which is about to happen, it is also showing a big sign of danger because the RSI or the MACD, let's start with MACD. MACD is already a bearish MACD cross. This is in a daily time frame. You can see RSI line clearly below 50 level, right, in favor of bears, and also the T3 CCI in a negative territory. So the indicators in a daily time frame, the MACD, RSI, T3 CCI is already in favor of bears, and if this crossover is also going to take place, then we have to be careful because that could be the sign that trend here could see potential downward price movement. But there are some scenarios we have to also take into consideration because around that range, we do have some strong line of support lying around for Bitcoin, because yesterday I showed you with this CPI indicator, the price of Bitcoin is going to find a strong support between these three CPI line. These are the monthly CPI line that is lying in between of 46,000 to 43,932 area. So what we want at any cost is price to find support between these three monthly CPI line, because breaking the CPI line here, the bottom CPI line, right, price coming below this line, that is going to trigger another bearish scenario. And for that, the lower price target is this red line, which is lying around 39,450 price area. So this is not what we want to see happening for Bitcoin. So that's why what we want the price is to find support between this CPI line, the monthly CPI line, because in the past Bitcoin price action, you can see when we had this movement, right, this similar movement, price heading towards the R1 line, and all of a sudden this correction, you can see we did found a strong support at the CPI lines, right? And after that, we also started this rally here to the upside. So that's why, guys, that's why as long as the price of Bitcoin is going to remain above this monthly CPI line, we could still expect some sort of a bounce or more of a movement here in this manner playing out for Bitcoin, because this CPI lines is going to stay here until the end of this September month. So that's why we are aware these lines are definitely going to be one strong line of support for Bitcoin. And now, if we look at the price movement in a smaller time frame, another very interesting scenario is unfolding. Let me show you that. And now if we look at this here in an hourly time frame, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add this very simple scenario for you guys, because yesterday when we were talking about this price movement, this falling trend line was actually acting as a support. Price broke below it, and the same line which acted as a support is acting as a resistance. So you can see we are following this falling trend line. So what we want is price to again break out of it and turn this resistance into support if we do want to see any sort of a price movement. And why that is important is because if you look at this in a very simple way, guys, you can see here, this here was more of a symmetrical triangle. And if you have watched my video, I also said to you very clearly, if we do see a breakout in most of the cases, it has liquidated all the longs and again started heading here to the downside. And this is exactly what we are also witnessing right now happening with Bitcoin. But right now, I'm going to show you something different. I mean, this price movement here, why it's important to break out of this falling trend line that I just showed you here. Forget this lower line. Just look at this one. Why is it so important to break out of this line? Is because if I add this price movement, what can you see? This is a descending broadening wedge. Descending broadening wedge is a bullish scenario what we can see here in hourly time frame appearing. So what we want the price of Bitcoin to do here is to break out of this chain, the lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern chain. So if the price does manage to flip this resistance into support, then we could be expecting a short-term price movement here to the upside. Because if you add this parallel channel here, you can also see this upper line, right, was a strong line of resistance and the lower line was a strong line of support. So if this is going to break and flip this resistance into support, at least I'm expecting a price movement towards the central line. And this central line is lying around 46,000 to 45,900 price area in a immediate short term for Bitcoin. So let's see how this one is going to play out, because any sort of a further pullback, right, we don't want to create another lower lows, because this here for now is still a lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern indicating the trend is weakening. So that's why we have to break this chain if we want to see any sort of impulsive movement playing out for Bitcoin. And in a weekly time frame, if you also look at the price movement, we talked about this on my yesterday's video, and we are also aware what we don't want at any cost is to break below this 0.236. And also if you want to show any sort of impulsive movement, actual impulsive movement, then the 0.382, which is lying around 51,800, must be turned into support, because right now we are trapped between these two Fibonacci extension line. So if the price of Bitcoin breaks below this 42,900 price range here, right, then the trend here could be actually weakening and we could see potential downward price movement. And I don't think the 50 weekly moving average is also going to support the price anymore if we break all the support what we have right now for Bitcoin and also start declining here to the downside. So any sort of impulsive movement, then we also want to flip this resistance into support, because if that's going to happen, then this is going to indicate the trend here is now still in favor of bulls and we could be potentially heading here to the upside. Because in a weekly, right, if you look at the indicators here to the downside, the indicators are still in favor of bulls, even though we are aware the daily indicators are in favor of bears, but the weekly is still in favor of bulls. This is a bullish MACD cross. RSI line is still above 50 level. You can see the true strength indicator is still flashing this bullish crossover, and also the T3CCI in a positive territory. So the indicators in a weekly are in favor of bulls, but in a daily are in favor of bears. So these are some of the outcomes that could be playing out here in the immediate short term and also in the upcoming days for Bitcoin. And also let me make you aware, if you are unaware of my Twitter account, it's Crypto Anup. Feel free to follow me there. And not just only this, if you also want to follow me on Instagram, then this is my only official Instagram account, Anup Dungana, guys. There are many scammers using the similar names, so for confirmation, always come back to the video description and have a double check. So these are some of the scenarios I thought sharing with you in today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this video was helpful enough. If that's the case, then please hit the like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye, guys.